rain, would you say?
Probably 6 mil.
6 mil of rain.
6 to 8 mil of rain.
So what the effect that had is the weeds started coming up just after the last rain about 3-4 weeks ago. And we put an application of Probiotic, and then we had, was it 1 or 2 days of over 40 degrees centigrade?
Yeah, we had 3 days running at 40 2 weeks ago, probably a week after the Probiotic.
And what effect does that normally have, do you notice?
Well, that initial germination will just fry. It go to nothing, just like next door has there. And
So next door, that's...
prior to that, we've had
that
no
paddock
rain
there.
for like 8 months.
Yep, no rain for since September with the last decent rain, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that next door paddock, you can see my finger is that's the fence line. And in the neighbour's paddock there's no stock or anything, it's completely dry and dead, and yet here you can see the green haze. It is just weeds, but we're working with the weeds at the moment. The fact we've got any green at all is nothing short of absolutely marvellous. You can see here's the big slake, which is not quite finished, but almost. You can see the swales running here. These are the bulk compost mounds here, and then there's another swale running along here and another swale along there, and it's green. And it's had 6 mil of rain or thereabouts in the last 7, 8 months.
Yep.
So that's quite remarkable. So when so your management in the last sort of 10 years, what are the sorts of things have you done to this place?
Oh, you name it, we've tried everything. Initially, like every small farm owner, they want to get an old tractor with a scarifier on it and do their own crop, and so yeah, we'd sort of plough the ground up. It looks great, you know, nice damp, you know, clean ground, and then we'd seed it with oats, and yeah, it grew. And then the end of winter, when it was all ready for harvest, we'd just leave it as pasture for the horses. We didn't actually harvest it off. It was just like feed without hand feeding them, and yeah, that was good for a month, and then it was all gone. And we found so we did that for a couple of years, and then we were doing a broadleaf spray in the process when the oats was in the early stages, and you know, that was all cost broadleaf spray. I think now you pay about $600 for 20 litres. Yeah, and then what we found was we were getting more double G, more calthrop, just by stirring the ground up and stirring the seed up. So, you know, we thought, you know, we were doing it wrong. So then one year we brought a professional in, and he put in ryegrass, oats. We cut the fence, he'd bring in a big combine, we put in ag grass and super, and you know, everything he said, and it was thousands of dollars. And you know, I think from memory it was about $3,500 in seed. We paid him $1,000 for the day. There's four, you know, so it's about $5,000. And then we brought the sprayer in and sprayed, and same thing, last a month. As soon as the weather warmed up, bang, everything just disappeared. Nothing was sustainable. And then the final straw was another guy said, oh no, you've got to put this pasture mix in at $70 a kilo. It's got this grasses and that grasses and that grasses, and they'll take over, and come summer you get a sniff of rain, it'll just all bounce back twice. And say, oh great, this sounds great. So we paid him an astronomical amount of money for this seed. So same thing again, we ploughed it again ourselves, and we seeded it out with a cone super spreader, and then we harrowed it over. And then I think that was a disaster. Nothing germinated. Might have been my fault. That might have been too deep. I know been told since with pasture seeds you can't go in too deep, otherwise it did. So that was a disaster. And then the last 3 years we just been paying another guy. He comes in for $1,500 a year and sprays broadleaf spray and just fries everything. And then you know, we get the weeds up in the winter. He sprays everything, kills everything, and then and now especially the last 2 years, especially this last year, oh, before I get to that, in saying that, the last few years not ripping the ground up has, and with the spraying, has brought the calthrop and double G under control, not as bad as it was, and by just leaving the ground as it is without stirring anything up.
Without ploughing, you mean?
Then, so he sprayed for a few years, every year, sometimes twice a year, and thousands of dollars again, and you know, we've spent, you know, probably in the vicinity of 20,000 more, just guessing. And every summer the paddocks are looking more and more lifeless, and this last summer especially, you'd walk out here and it just looked like it had died. It just said, I'm done. And I remember that day clearly, and when I looked at it, I just thought, can't keep going like this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Hence why we've gone down this path, and I'm really excited. It looks great. Now I'm seeing it, I can get an understanding of it, and I see how it's going to work. And the probiotics I was a bit sceptical about, but I've seen the proof now and the evidence, and I'm sold. I'm excited, and I just can't wait to these first rains to come and we start planting out and mulching out and get these soak ponds finished off, and yeah, I'm really excited just to see how sustainable it's going to be after the winter and the hot weather comes back in. Because as soon as that rain stopped and we got that first week of hot weather, bang, everything in here was done. It was done and dusted.
Now it's still green after that week of hot weather. And it's not just green, it's growing.
Yeah, well, that's been a month, and you know, since the probiotic, and look at it. I know it's weeds, and I'm taking your advice, you know, to stabilise the ground and
Build soil with the weeds.
Help build soil, work with what we got, and look, that's green and lush like you'd eat it in a salad, you know. And like I say, it was only 2 weeks ago we had 3 days of 40 again.
On the back of the longest, hottest, driest summer on record.
And this year, in the summer, I did a bit of digging, putting dog fence and that in. I've never seen the ground so hard, so dry, so lifeless, and yeah, it's scary. So rehydrating this landscape is, I'm all for that, and I'm excited. So,
just as a point of reference, the video on the YouTube channel, which is explains the biovital compost. I mean, and I mentioned there that you see the soil for the property. That's from this property here. So you can see already that that's the compost we made from the ingredients from this property for this property. Because there'll always be indigenous microorganisms to any property which are surviving even the harshest conditions.